Hi, my name is Keys and welcome back to my channel. This is Mermay Week 1 Spring and we're starting off with the sketch. So the sketch of course is done with a brush pen on low opacity because that's my favorite brush and it's just very nice to sketch with. And I'm using Procreate. So I found my reference picture on Google. I just Googled mermaid and I thought this one was very dynamic and it was very nice and I was like, oh, I like the pose, I like it. So that's what I went with. So after I did the sketch, I went back and I did the sketch again. I went to refine the sketch because I would need to lay down some solid colors and I needed some guidelines of where those colors would be, and then when I was done with the colors I would need to ink the drawing, so I would just lower the opacity and then just ink over my lines, so my lines would have to look very nice and crispy and sexy. So after I had the lines done, I went to color and I didn't really know what I wanted my colors to be, but I knew I wanted pink and green for the colors of spring. And disclaimer, this is actually the first version because after I made this I realized it was so ugly I had to do it again, but luckily I had saved a sketch so I didn't have to re-sketch it again. But the thing I did wrong was that my colors were too gross. They were so ugly, so she just looked like she had mud all over her body, so I was like, ew, no, what the fuck. But anyways, after I redid the sketch again, and this time I thought about my mistake. I was like, I'm not gonna do that again. I can't draw her again. So I was like, okay, I got it this time. So I redid the lines and I was thinking of going lighter with the colors this time, and I decided to make everything pink as opposed to making her arms green because that kind of looked pretty gross. So I was like, okay, let's make everything pink and then making her accents green, like her crown and her bra. And I also went lighter with the background colors, just made everything look lighter and more easier on the eyes. So I went on another layer and then I used brown. I used brown and burgundy for multiply, and I slapped some shadows on there. And of course I'm using a textured brush. It looks ugly at first, but it adds a lot of dimension to the drawing. Then I went on another layer to add highlights. I was looking at the light source of my reference picture and I really liked the way the light was moving with her body, and I was like, that looks really cool, so I want to try that. So I basically used, I think, at least 2 or 3 layers to kind of get her lighting going on because I needed to really brighten up her body. And then I use another textured brush for the greenery. It's like it's a cover up because I was like, if it's just little blobs of plant, then it'll look better than if I draw actual plants. So I was really just going all over the place with nonsense sad plant and flowers, and in the end it did look kind of good. So after I had all my colors and a little bit of my highlights down, I went back for my sexy lines. I used a shell brush and and I also decided to hatch the drawing and draw crisscross all over the place because I'm a professional and that's what we do here. I'm just kidding. But the hatching looks very good with her textured skin. And also the brush I'm using is the shell brush from Procreate, and I love inking with it because the lines are so solid, so I was able to get some really nice lines there, and adding the hatching just added another really beautiful dimension to the drawing, and I really like that. And I used up black lines as opposed to colored lines because they really did stand out, and I felt like if I had used lines the same color, say lines pink and beige, they would kind of blend into her skin and you wouldn't really be able to see her. So then I added some clouds with the cloud brush, and then I went back on more overlay layers and I added some highlights. And then I had to fix the highlights because they were the color was too white, so I had to add some yellows and blues to balance everything out. And then I fixed the little flowers, and I think I'm done. Enjoy the reveal. You can follow me on Insta. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you like. I'll be back next week, I promise. Bye bye.